What would you do if love became the very force that pulled you back from the edge of death? This is the story of Officer Lee, who survived a brutal attack and found his strength not in medicine alone, but in the unwavering devotion of Sam. From tender nights of care at his hospital bedside to joyful moments shopping together, and finally to the breathtaking surprise of a farm gifted as their forever home. This journey is filled with sacrifice, gratitude, and love. Don't miss a second of this touching story. Subscribe now and join us in reliving their unforgettable moments.
The hospital room was filled with the faint scent of antiseptic, yet to Kingshot Lee, it had never felt warmer or more comforting. He had survived a brutal attack, a sharp knife driven into his body during a confrontation with dangerous criminals, and for days, every breath had been a battle. But amid the pain, there was a constant presence that anchored him. A soft voice whispering encouragement, a pair of gentle hands smoothing back his hair, and the quiet determination of someone who refused to leave his side. That someone was Sam. She had been there through every sleepless night, watching over him with unwavering patience. When he trembled in pain, she held his hand tightly. When he struggled to sit up, she was the first to support him. She fed him spoonful by spoonful when his strength would not allow him to lift the glass, and she stayed up countless nights just to make sure his fever would not return. To Lee, Sam's devotion felt like a miracle, an embrace of love that went beyond duty or affection. He often woke in the middle of the night, the dim light casting shadows on the pale walls, only to find Sam dozing lightly in the chair by his bed, her head tilted at an uncomfortable angle. She would stir the moment he shifted, her eyes filled with concern, as if his every movement mattered more than her own exhaustion. In those moments, Lee realized something profound. Her love was not simply in words, but in every sacrifice, every small gesture, every ounce of strength she poured into him when he had none left to give. Gratitude swelled in his chest each time he looked at her. And even though his body was still weak, his heart was stronger than ever. He knew he owed his recovery not just to medicine, but to the unyielding care of the woman who had chosen to walk through fire with him. When he finally found the strength to stand on his own again, Lee looked at Sam with eyes that shone brighter than any sunlight breaking through the hospital window. He no longer saw the pain of the past weeks, but the miracle of love that had kept him alive. In her, he saw not only the woman he loved, but the partner he wanted to cherish for the rest of his life. When Lee was finally discharged from the hospital, the world outside felt different. The air was fresher, the sky bluer, and even the bustling streets seemed to move with a softer rhythm. Perhaps it was because he was seeing everything through new eyes, the eyes of a man who had nearly lost his life, but was saved not only by medicine, but by love. As he walked beside Sam, her hand lightly brushing against his, Lee felt a surge of emotion that words could not capture. He wanted to show her, in his own way, how deeply her care had touched him. It wasn't enough to simply say thank you. He needed to create a memory, a moment that would tell her she was his everything. That was when the idea came to him, an afternoon just for the two of them, far away from the shadows of the hospital. So, on a sunny morning, Lee surprised Sam by taking her downtown.
Her eyes widened in confusion as he led her into a boutique filled with rows of elegant dresses, coats, and accessories. She blinked at him, her lips parting as though she were about to protest, but Lee only smiled and gently pressed a finger to her lips. "Today is about you. You've given me so much. Now let me give you something back." At first, Sam shook her head, insisting she didn't need new clothes, that his health was the only gift she wanted. But Lee was persistent, guiding her toward the racks of clothing as though he had already planned everything down to the last detail. The hours that followed were filled with laughter and warmth. Lee watched with quiet delight as Sam tried on different outfits, her face lighting up when she twirled in front of the mirror. Each time she stepped out of the fitting room, Lee's heart skipped a beat. She was beautiful in everything she wore, but what moved him most was the sparkle in her eyes, the pure joy she couldn't hide. Sometimes he would reach out to adjust a collar or smooth a wrinkle in the fabric, their hands brushing in the simplest yet most intimate of touches. For Lee, this wasn't just shopping. It was watching the woman he loved rediscover her smile after weeks of worry and sleepless nights. By the end of the day, Sam's arms were full of shopping bags, though she protested with every purchase. Lee only chuckled, knowing she would never truly understand that no dress, no gift could ever equal what she had given him, the strength to heal and the courage to live again. And yet, deep inside, Lee carried a secret, a plan much larger than clothes and small surprises. He was waiting for the perfect moment to reveal it, a gift that would prove to Sam just how serious he was about their shared future. As the afternoon sun dipped lower, casting a golden glow across the city, Lee suggested a short drive to somewhere special. Sam, still holding on to the shopping bags he insisted she keep, tilted her head curiously but agreed, her heart warmed by the rare sparkle of mischief in his eyes. The car ride was peaceful. The city slowly faded into quiet roads lined with trees, and the hum of traffic gave way to birdsong and the soft rustle of leaves in the wind. Sam gazed out the window, her curiosity growing with each passing mile. But Lee remained silent, only squeezing her hand gently as if to say, "Trust me." After nearly an hour, the car turned down a gravel path bordered by wooden fences. At the end of the road stood a charming gate, its arch covered in flowering vines. Lee stepped out first and walked around to open the door for Sam. When she followed him through the gate, her breath caught in her throat. Before her stretched acres of green fields, dotted with fruit trees, blooming gardens, and a quaint farmhouse that looked like it had leaped straight out of a dream. In the distance, a small barn stood ready, its red paint glowing warmly under the evening sun. Sam turned to Lee, her lips trembling, unable to speak. He took both her hands in his eyes holding hers with a depth that made her heart race. "This," he said softly, "is my gift to you, to us. A place where we can build a life away from danger, away from fear. A place where love can grow as freely as the flowers here." Her tears fell before she could stop them, streaming down her cheeks as she shook her head in disbelief. "Lee, this is too much," she whispered, her voice breaking. But he only smiled, brushing away her tears with his thumb. "Nothing is too much when it comes to you, Sam. You saved my life. Not just my body, but my spirit. This farm is not just land or a house, it's our future. It's where I want to see us wake up together, raise a family, and grow old side by side." Overwhelmed, Sam threw her arms around him, sobbing into his chest. The scent of earth and blossoms filled the air, mingling with the warmth of his embrace. In that moment, she realized this was not just a gift, it was a promise of love, of home, and of forever.
Hello, xin chào tất cả các khán giả của kênh Lý Tử Sam Review. Vậy là trong tập phim ngày hôm nay, sau khi cảnh sát Ly tỉnh dậy dưới sự cảm động với sự chăm sóc của cô gái Sam, thì cảnh sát Ly và Sam đã thú nhận tình cảm dành cho nhau. Và điều đặc biệt hơn đó chính là cảnh sát Ly đã tặng cô một món quà khiến cô rất là bất ngờ và bật khóc vì hạnh phúc. Đó chính là cảnh sát Ly đã tặng cô một trang trại. Vậy là từ nay cô sẽ không phải đi sống nhờ ở nhà người khác nữa, mà cô đã có một trang trại riêng của mình. Hạnh phúc này của Sam liệu có tồn tại mãi mãi hay không, hay chỉ là nhất thời? Tất cả sẽ được hé lộ ở các tập tiếp theo. Các bạn hãy bấm vào nút đăng ký kênh để nhận được thông báo mới nhất về các tập phim sẽ được phát sóng hàng ngày trên kênh nha. Cảm ơn các bạn rất nhiều. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại. Bye bye.